In this video, I'm going to show you how to build better websites on GoHighLevel, and this will be a step-by-step tutorial. By the end of this video, you'll be able to build better websites on GoHighLevel that get you more clients and beat your competition. I have 10 points that I want to talk about, so this will be great for you if you're just starting on GoHighLevel and the website editor is a little bit confusing. I'm going to show you how I build websites like a pro and how you can do this as well, or even if you've already been on GoHighLevel for quite some time, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks which you might not know yet. I've been using GoHighLevel for quite some time, and I run a GoHighLevel web design agency. I help businesses and agencies that run on GoHighLevel build better websites that get them more clients. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be sharing a lot of the lessons and the things that I've learned and that I do for my own websites as well as my client websites. If you don't want to go through the trouble, but you need a website that gets you more clients and that stands out from the competition, I've left a link in my description. You can schedule a discovery call and I can show you how I've helped other businesses that run on GoHighLevel build better websites that get them more clients. Enough of me talking, and let's jump right into the tutorial. Let's start with the basics. So before we start going crazy and showing you like effects and images and so on, I'm going to start from the very basic and then work ourselves so that we have a better idea. I think a lot of the times people start jumping into the editor without getting the basics right, which is why they might struggle or find the website editor a little bit confusing. So I am on GoHighLevel, and right now I am in sites and websites. The funnel and website editor are the same, but in this case, I'm going to be building a website. If this is the first website that you're going to be built, this will be blank. In this case, I have a few websites that I've built before. If you wanted to create a new website, what you could do is click on this new website button right here. And there's two options. There's the from blank and from templates. I know that a lot of people push the template, and there's some template right here. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I am not too fond of templates just because they're a little bit too generic, too corporate, they're boring, and I like to have full creative control when I build my websites, which is why I always start from blank. So in this case, I'm going to start a website from blank. What I would do is just give it a name. So I'll just give it a test name for now, and I'll hit create. Now what I can do here is start adding pages. So I could just click right here, and I want to start by adding my home page. So that's what I'm going to do right now, home, and then give it a path of home here as well. And that's how I'll be creating my first page. If I wanted to create another page, I could just do that right now. And now you see that there's two options. I can use existing or create from blank. I'm going to walk you through what use existing is a little bit later in the video, but for now we will start with create from blank, which this just means that you're going to be creating from an empty canvas. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Before I start adding anything else, let me just show you the next thing that I wanted to cover, which is the website structure. So here you see that there's like different buttons and things, and you might not be sure how everything works and relates to each other. First of all, what I wanted to show you is this diagram right here. On GoHighLevel, we have different containers, and these containers help us structure the layout and the design of our website. The biggest container that we have are sections, which are green, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a bit. Within sections, we have rows, which are blue. Within rows, we have columns, and you can make it so that there's just the one column in a given row, or you can have two, you can have more than two, and so on. Now within columns, you can have elements, and again, you can have multiple elements in a column. You can just have one, you can have more than one, and so on. But that's how the general structure of GoHighLevel websites work. Let me go back to the website editor, and you'll see that the first thing that I am prompted is to add a section, which is the biggest container. So I'm going to click here, full width. Within this section, I'm going to add a one column row. And then here, what I could do is add, let's say, a headline. So now you see that the section is green, the row is blue, the column is pink, and then this element here is orange. All right, so before we start building, I like to make sure that I have my colors and my font dialed in. So if I'm building a website for a specific brand that already has different colors, so already has specific assets and typography that they want to use, I want to make sure that I set this up from the beginning so that it will make my life easier when I'm building this website for a client. So let's go back to the website editor, and you see that I have here a headline. I'm going to show you also a paragraph. So what I would do to get started is click on this typography icon right here. And here you will see that there is like different fonts and different options that I can pick. If I wanted to change the headline fonts, I could just click this right here, and I can select from one of the options right here. Any font that's in Google Fonts, you can add it here. Let's say I wanted to add this font right here, Sans Serif, which is one that I like a lot. I could just click this right here. And now you see that because I changed the headline font, my headline has now changed to that font. You can do the same with content font. So let's say that the font that I want to use for my headlines is this one, and for my content I want to use this one. The next thing that I would do is go to the colors right here, and I would start making sure that I add the colors, or I have the colors that I'm going to be using throughout the rest of the website. And the way that I would do this is click here, and then there's a few options that you already have, but if you wanted to add a new color, what you would do is click this, didn't find your new color, and then you could start adding the different colors right here. You can click here, play around and see like what the different colors would look like. If you already know what the actual color is, I would just copy the hex code and paste it on the page. So in this case, I am in colors.co. If you watch any of my videos, you know I love this site. So let's say these are the colors that my website is going to be using. I'll just click this here, copy this, and then add this right here. You can give it a name for your color if you want, but if you don't, it's fine. And then you can just click add color. Right now I'm going to add the other color and we'll start building the website. Okay, so now I've added my two different colors. It's going to be this one and this one right here. And now I'm going to show you how we actually start building the websites. The first thing that I'm going to do is add a hero section, or work on my hero section. In the hero section, if you've looked at different websites, they have the main headline, they have a sub headline, and then they have a button. So let's just do that. I'll show you how I do this very quickly. So let's imagine that I am building a website for a web design agency that helps creative businesses. That's the thing that I would put on my headline. I want to make it very easy for the prospects or the website visitors that land on the website to know what I do. Now what I want to add is a sub headline. So if I wanted to do that, I would click this plus icon underneath the headline that I want to add. If I wanted to add another row, I would just do that here. But if I wanted to add a section, I would just click the plus here. So just make sure that whatever item that you want to add, you add it underneath the right section or container that you want to add it under. In this case, I want to click here and then do sub headline. I'm going to drag it and put it right there. So I'm going to play around with the copy and then come up with something that makes sense for the headline and the sub headline. If I wanted to make this a little bit bigger, what I would do is click on the actual headline, go here to general, and then scroll where you see the font size, and then you can just play around with this right here. Let's say I wanted to make it so that it's 60, so it's a little bit bigger, just easier to read, and it's the hero section, so it's the first thing that the website visitor is gonna see. That's why I want to make it a little bit bigger. For this one, let's say I just wanted to keep it at 22. That's what I would do right there. Let's say now that I want to add a button, so what I would do is click this right here and then select button, and then we'll give it some style to make sure it looks nice. So right now, the thing that I'm noticing before I style this button is that everything is too close to each other. So I want to give some space to the different elements. The best way to do this is if you click in this element right here, and you scroll all the way down here, you'll see this margin and padding box right here. Here's where you'll be able to define a lot of the space, add margins. So we want to make sure that you use spacing to our advantage to style everything and make sure that everything looks nice. In this case, I'm going to click here and hit 20, and then I'll do the same for this headline right here. So I've just added a little bit more space so that it's more visually appealing. Now I'll go back and style this button right here. The first thing that I want to do is, instead of click to sign up, I want to change the text. So I'll scroll all the way down here where it says text options, and I can just click this right here, and I'll just put book call. And then if I wanted to add a subtext here, you could just do that, and then you would have that subtext right here. I'm not going to do that. And for now, we're not going to worry about the button action because we haven't built out our website, but I just want to show you how you add elements and so on. Let's say I wanted to change the style, make it just a little bit different. The first thing that you could do is go here to background button. And because I've already added my two colors, I can just click this color right here. And now let's say I wanted it so that the button has round edges or has some sort of border. What I could do is go to advanced, and then there's a bunch of options. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the key ones that you want to take into account is this border options right here. You can just click this and then select, let's say, full border. And now you see there's kind of like a full border. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see what I mean in just a sec. If you wanted this border to have a different color, so let's say red for whatever reason, that's where you would be able to do it. The thing that I do recommend is to keep the borders simple. We want to make sure that we're building a site that looks beautiful, but it's also easy for people to just navigate. So in this case, I'm going to keep my borders to the same color of the button. If I wanted to make it so that the corners are not as sharp, I can just click this border radius. Let's say I hit 10, and now you see that it's a little bit friendlier. The button's a little bit too short, so what I can do is click on the button again, go to advanced, and then here where it says horizontal space, right now we have it as inherit. If I select 40 or 30, for instance, there'll be more space added to the side. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'll hit 40, and now you see that the button is a little bit longer. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is give this section a little bit more space. So I'll click on the section and then select here and maybe make it so that it's 140. and then do 140 here as well. So now we have that main hero section. Now let's say on my headline I wanted to accentuate specific words. I could totally do that. What I can do is, let's say I want to accentuate these two words right here. I could just select them, and then there's different options. Right now the whole text is bold, so you see that this is kind of like highlighted. So let's say that I just wanted these two words to be accentuated. I can just click this right here, and you'll see that now those two words are in italics. I can change the color based on the type of text that I have. So if you scroll down here, you see that if I change the color, let's say I wanted to make it so that it's, I don't know, like red. In this case, nothing changes because the text is all bold. So I'll just keep this back to green. But for the bold text, if I started to mess around with the different colors here where it would change, I'm going to keep it as green. And let's say for the italic, we wanted to make it so that it's of a different shade, maybe like a lighter green. That's where you'll be able to do it. I'm gonna keep it simple for now, so I'll click this back to green, but that's how you would be able to do that right there. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to show you is how to create different sections and how you can use different layouts to style your websites and make sure that everything looks nice. So now I'll go back to high level, and I've added my hero section. Let's say I wanted to add a about section. What I would do is click on this plus icon right here, select full width section, and then within the section I would want to add a row. In this case, I'm gonna make it so that I have two columns. So I have one right here and one right here. And now let's say that I wanted to add an image here, a headline, and some sort of button here. So I'm gonna show you how to do that very quickly. So I would just click this, add element, select image, drag and drop it right there. And then in this case, let's say I wanted to add a headline. I could just add the headline manually, but if I already have a headline or some element that I want to kind of just be able to duplicate it, you can. So in this case, what I will do is duplicate this headline and then this button. So I can just click, for instance, on this button right here. You see that the button has been duplicated, and then I can just select this, drag and drop it here. And then I'll do the same with the headline right here, kind of drag and drop it right here. Now let's say that I wanted to left align this. I would just be able to do that right here, and the same thing with the button as well. Now let's say that I wanted to add an image here. I can just click on the image, scroll here to where it says image options, and then select this right here. If you already have the different images, you would be able to add them in here, but if you don't, you can just click upload file and upload directly from your computer. In this case, let's say I wanted to add this image right here. That's how I'd be able to do it very quickly. Now you want to make sure that you save as you go. So right now I'll click this save right here to make sure that I save my progress. When your website is ready and you're ready to publish it, that's when you would click this right here. But for now, since we're building it, we're just going to be hitting save throughout the whole process. All right, next, I'm going to show you how I built my navigation bars and my thought process behind it. So I'll go back here, and what I'll do is, let's say I wanted to add a navigation bar here at the top. The easiest way to do that is I would just click this right here, select a full width section, but of course it's underneath. I want to make it so that it's at the top. What I can do is click this arrow right here, and that's how I'll be able to move sections around. So now this is at the top, and what I would do is click here, select a 2-column row, and you'll see why in just a sec. Let's say I wanted to click this right here and do a navigation bar. That's what I would do. And in this side, what I would want to do is add a button. So I could just add the button how I would normally do it, but because I've already styled my buttons, the easiest way is, as I already showed you earlier, duplicate the button and then take it up there. Now I want to make it so that this navigation bar is kind of styled like this, and the reason why is you want to make it so that it's easy for a prospect that is in your website to get in touch with you. And I want to differentiate my main call to action versus everything else here as to the different pages that we're going to be building later on. So for now, I've added this button to make it easy for my prospects to get in touch with me. Now let's say I wanted to change the section color to the green. That's what I would do right here. Of course, the button is very hard to read, so I would change it so that it's flipped. The background would be that white, and then the actual text would be the green. Right now, these two things are competing for attention, and I see a lot of GoHighLevel websites have different items right here that are kind of compete for attention and don't make the website cohesive. So in this case, what I would do is click on here and then make sure that the background color for the navigation bar is transparent, so it looks a little bit nicer. And these guys right here, of course, they're hard to read. So what I would do is click again and then scroll down here and start playing around with the different things right here. So for color, I would make it so that they're white. And then when I hover, I don't like the white boxes. So what I would do is make it so that the hover is transparent, but the hover text color is, let's say, blue. So now you see that when I hover, it's a little bit nicer and just a little bit better. Right now, we have different menu items, but because we haven't created any other pages, we're not gonna worry about linking these right now. Now, if I wanted to add the name of my business, I could just do that right here. In this case, I'm just gonna delete this and then just add a photo. So I can click on the navigation bar and then scroll all the way to the bottom where you can just do this right here. Click this. And let's say my logo was this one right here. So now you see that I've added my logo. If you wanted to change the size of the logo, you can just play around with the settings right here. A common mistake that I see people doing is that they adjust the height. If you start playing around with the height, the format of the image will become messed up. You kind of see like how this just looks not good. So what I like to do is just get rid of the height pixels altogether and just play around with the width. Trust me, I've tried it. And when you start editing for mobile, it also causes some problems. So for now, let's say if you wanted to make this bigger, you could just do 200 instead of 100. This is very big, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it at 100 for now. But that is how you would be able to create your navigation bar. Right now, the navigation bar, it seems like it's a little bit too thick. So we're going to get rid of some of that space. I'll just click on this section right here, and instead of 20, let's say I just do 10, then 10 on the top as well. And let's say the same for this column right here. Instead of 15, I want to make it so that it's 10, and that's how I'd be able to make it a little bit thinner. At any point, if I want to see how my website actually looks, I can just click this icon right here and it will show me a preview of what the actual website looks like. So this is what we have right now. So you see that we're making some progress in here. The one thing that I noticed is that this image is too close to this text. So let me show you how I would fix this. I would just go down here, select this column, and make sure that I add some spacing on the sides. Let's say 20 and then 20 on the other side as well. So that's how I'll be able to fix this. I'm gonna hit save again. Now, the next thing that I wanted to show you is the SEO metadata tab. So I'll just break down this very quickly, although I think I'll make a separate video expanding more on it. But for now, you'll notice that when you hit save, sometimes this tab will open. This is something that's gonna help the search engines kind of like categorize your website. And at the same time, when you send the website as a link on Instagram or Facebook, it's going to be like the preview that the prospect or the person that you're sending this to sees. So for now, for the content, I'll give it a title. And then for the description, we'll use this right here. I'm going to make a separate video expanding more on like how to leverage the power of this tab and make sure that your websites are properly labeled. But for now, I'm going to keep it very simple and just show you like how you can do that. Let's say for social image, I want to add an image as well. So I'll just click here and then select this image right here. So now you see that this is what that preview looks like. And when you send the link to prospects, that's how it will show on their phone. I'm gonna hit update SEO, move my face here again, and then save. All right, the next thing that I wanted to show you is global sections and templates. And I think this is something that's very cool and I don't see that many people using them. So let's say that we finished building our home and we're ready to build the next page. We want to make sure that our navigation bars are the same. So if I was to make a change here, like how do I make it so that the changes that I make on my navigation bar are reflected on all of my different pages? I'm going to show you how to do that. There's this thing on GoHighLevel called global sections and global templates, and I'm going to show you how to use them to leverage them and make building websites for yourself a lot easier. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this section and then select save. And then here I will select global sections. So I'm going to show you global sections first, and then I'll give it a name of header 1, and then I will select save. Now you see that this section changed color. Before it was this green and now it's this dark purple, and you'll see why in just a sec. For now, I'm going to hit save. Now let's say that I finished this page and I'm ready to build the next page. What I would do is click here, go back. Now, if you remember in the beginning of this video, we started creating from blank right here. This should usually have a preview. I think there's like a bug right now. I'm not sure why this is not showing properly. But let's say that if we wanted to build a contact page right now, what we would do is we could start from scratch and then just do everything that I just showed you, or we could make it so that we save ourselves some time. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'll click use existing, and then I'll select the one website that we've just created, and we'll make it so that the page that we're kind of importing into this page as a starting point is the home page. So that's what I like to do. I like to fully build out my home page, have the fonts, the colors, everything right. So from that first page, I can build the different pages, and my design process is a lot faster, and I think it's something that you might benefit from as well. Now that this is loaded, I can just click here, edit, And you see that even though now I am in the contact us, all of the things that we've worked on are already here. So of course, we're not going to be using the same thing, but we can start building this and saving ourselves some time. Right now, of course, if I was to make a change right here, it's not going to be reflected on the home page. We want it so that each page is different. However, because this is a global section, if I make any changes right here, let's say I added a different button and now I was to go to the home page again, you will see that because that is a global section, any changes that I make on that global section will be reflected on every single page, which is good. It's going to save us time. So if you need to change the navigation bar or anything like that, that's the power of global sections. Now I'm going to show you global templates very quickly. So let's say I fully built out a section that I want to keep using for other websites, for other pages. What I could do is click here and then select a template, and then I'll just give it a name, and then I'll hit save. You see that this one didn't change color, and the reason why is because this is not a global section. So if I make any changes to a template, it's not going to reflect on any other site. Let's pretend that I didn't have this section and I was building this website and I liked the layout or the design that I made for the home page, and I don't want to build them from scratch. What I can do is click here, and then of course you'll be able to see your global sections, which would be the header, but you would also have your section templates right here. And if I just type the word cool section, which is the name that we gave it, you see it right here. I can drag and drop it, and I already have this section kind of like pre-built, so it saves a lot of time when I'm designing. All right, the last thing that I wanted to show you is mobile layout tips. I know a lot of you guys have mentioned that I don't talk about how to make the websites look nice on mobile. So let me just show you a little bit of that right now. So first of all, let me just get rid of this button right here. So how I usually build the websites is that once I have finished building the actual website, that's when I would just make it so that it's mobile responsive and mobile friendly as well. So let's pretend I've already finished building my website. What I would then do is click on this button right here to click mobile layout. And now I would see what my website looks like on mobile. There's a bunch of changes that I would make right now to make this a lot better. The first thing that I noticed is that this is too big, so I could just change the font right here. And you might be wondering, oh, if you change the font right here, will it also change in the desktop version? And the answer is no. If you take a look at this right here, you can define what the font size is for mobile as well as for desktop. So for desktop, 60 was fine, but for mobile, I want to make it so that it's a lot smaller. So let's just try 44. And now you see, okay, that looks a lot better. This one I'm going to keep it at 22. And another thing that I noticed is that there's too much spacing. And by that same logic, if I change the spacing for mobile, it's going to be different than desktop. So that's something that you can use to your advantage to make sure that you optimize your website and that it also looks good on mobile. Right now, I'm going to make it so that there's only 40 and then 40 at the bottom as well. I've seen other tutorials where people suggest that, oh, you can just duplicate a section and then make it so that one of the sections will be only seen in mobile and the other section will only be seen in desktop, and then style them accordingly. The problem with that is that if you want to make any changes, it's going to be painful because you will have to change it twice. You'll have to change it for the section that you built for mobile and the section that you built for desktop. So that's why I stay away from having like sections with different visibility preferences, and I just make it so that I spend some time optimizing the same section for the different device screen sizes. I'm going to show you a bonus, which is how to start adding more interactive effects and cool things to your website. Let's say I wanted to start adding some custom effects and just take my website to the next level. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. So the way to do this is you have to use code. And if you want to give some styling to this, we're going to be using CSS. Let's say I wanted to make it so that when I hover my mouse over this image, it becomes a little bit bigger. And in order to do that, we can just click this right here, custom CSS. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I have this doc with all of my GoHighLevel web design resources. I have tutorials, examples, and it's what I use for a daily basis to make sure that I build better websites for my clients. So let's say right now, I want to make it so that I make an image bigger when I hover over it. So I'll just click this right here and then copy the code from here, paste that right here. Now, right now you see that it says your image / your elements. We need to specify which element we want this effect to be applied to. So I'll hit save. I'll click on my image. I'll go to the advanced tab, and then you see the CSS selector. I'll just copy this, go back to the custom CSS, and then replace that right here, just like this. You don't need to worry too much about this right now, but what it is saying is that when I hover my mouse over that section, I want to make it so that this is scaled by 1.2 or making it 20% bigger. So we'll just hit save. And now you see that when I hover my mouse, the image becomes a little bit bigger. Of course, that's too much. What I would do instead is make it so that it's 1.1. But anyways, you get the idea. Now, if I wanted to preview the site, I would just click this right here and then see what it looks like. And now you see how my website is looking. You see that as I hover my mouse, the image becomes bigger. I hope you found this video valuable. You were able to take away a few things to build better websites on GoHighLevel. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.